call on the Inuit and Indigenous folks who are in this circle to share a little bit about what is it important for people to hear, or your understanding of what reconciliation means?
I think reconciliation for me, at least being someone who's part of such a rich culture, is with myself mostly, because it's not something I was proud of at all. I didn't think it was something I should acknowledge. It wasn't, because there's so many intense stigmas.
I'm getting to this point where I'm starting to understand more and starting to listen to more of our stories and understanding that myself, to know where I come from and to be able to share that story and to begin moving forward. I think Students on Ice is a great place to bring people together and to begin those conversations of what reconciliation means and the role that each of us play as individuals, no matter where we're from.
We are starting to think about Indigenous knowledge as being something that can be really special, and that for us as Indigenous peoples, we're starting to see that in ourselves too, and finding our way back to our own identity.
For me, reconciliation is about empowering our youth, so that's why I started crying, because my biggest dream is that we ensure that our youth are so proud of who they are, that in 5 years, 10 years, when we all get together again in a situation like this, the conversation isn't anymore about how do we empower youth, it's how do we take our pride and take our tradition, and how do we adapt that to this lifestyle that we now live. Like, to me, that is reconciliation.
It's not something I ever acknowledged, and it wasn't literally until this trip, until I decided that I was going to allow myself to be a part of that.
When I think about reconciliation, I think about the term "saimakatigidnak," and it's about reaching a place of peace between two parties or two people, but it implies a sense of working together.
The Kauswitok National Park represents a combined effort of many, whether it's the Government of Canada, Government of Nunavut, but it's important to know the hard work that Inuit from Resolute put towards this. And I think we got to take a moment to acknowledge and patatugay ng labo asukulaw sa mayan.
So we arrived in Resolute Bay on the day of the announcement of the Kauswitok National Park, the official announcement.
That's definitely a path forward in terms of reconciliation. The history of Resolute in itself, I think, is very symbolic in terms of the forced relocations that happens. So there's a dark history, I guess, in our Canada that we've acknowledged, but where I'm very optimistic is the resilience of Inuit.
Part of what we teach here at Students on Ice is about the control that Inuit have had and the power that they've had in decision making and over their rights to the land and to the resources that exist here.
And I think this park is an amazing example of what we're accomplishing in terms of where we came from to where we want to go.